On today's episode of Verts, all 32 NFL teams just got potentially good and big news. We'll talk about that topic here on the show. And what that big news could be is if the NFL decides to go ahead and add an 18th game to the regular season. This has been in the works. It's been rumored for a while, and it feels like we're closer than ever to this becoming a real possibility. My name is Harrison Graham, Verts here. Don't forget to subscribe for daily NFL and college football content. All right, NFLPA Executive Lloyd Howell recently said this quote, "We've talked at a very high level with recognition about, this is something we should talk about in regards to an 18th game. When you have a growing enterprise," talking about the NFL, "and you could tweak the existing CBA, why wouldn't you look at that?" And your initial reaction to this when you hear this is, this stuff always comes down to one thing: money. Why would the NFL add another game? Because they can make more money. So they went to 17 a few years ago. The salary cap went up. Everyone's happy. Owners, coaches, players, everybody gets more money. And obviously we always have a player safety discussion, but at the end of the day, if more money goes into these guys' pockets, everyone ends up being pretty happy at the end of this. And I think this really started to become real in the last couple of months when Roger Goodell, who was at the spring league meeting recently in the last couple of months, he kind of made a push at that meeting. He said, quote, "When you have a growing enterprise that you could tweak," this is talking more about the Lloyd Howell quote. Goodell went ahead and took it a step further from this Lloyd Howell quote and basically said, hey, owners are talking about it, we're interested. Pushing for an 18th game just makes a lot of sense for us as a league. And look, I don't really disagree with it. My initial thought when all this popped up was, well, how would the players take it? Well, coming up in a second, I'll explain why the players are going to be on board. And one player in particular, one of the faces of the league, is already advocating for it, which is why I believe this could happen sooner rather than later. But again, want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel. We're pushing toward 2,000 subscribers here on Verts. Daily NFL content, some college football videos squeezed in there as well. Talked about Deion Sanders recently if you want to go check that out. We cover it all. Don't miss out. It's free. Hit that sub button. Okay, Joe Burrow, Bengals quarterback, who, by the way, has an injury history, so you wouldn't necessarily think he would be, the player face of, the league to be on board with this, right? To be, let's push forward and add another regular season game. Well, that's actually not the case. He has voiced his support for adding an 18th game. He threw out a bunch of different ideas about what that could look like. But again, why would Joe Burrow be on board? Because they can make more money. The thought of being concerned about player safety as a player kind of gets thrown out the window when you're presented with the possibility of earning more money. Like, I think 95% of the players would say, hey, listen, if we had an 18th game, your contracts could go up 20% in the next 2 years. I think 95% would be like, yep, let's play 18. 19? 20? I don't think we're going to that. But it's like anything else in life. If someone presents you with an opportunity to earn more money, you're willing to take more risk. And over the course of a career, an extra high-intensity game, could that be more risk to your body long-term? Sure. But are you going to turn down millions of dollars because of it? Absolutely not. Because all these guys want to make more. They want to provide for their families. That's what this is all about. It's entertainment for us. It's business for these guys. And most of them are high-level competitors as well, and they want to win. But they're not doing it for free. They're doing it so they can provide and make a lot of money. Now, Joe Burrow mentioned some of these ideas, but I think there's a very simple solution to what the NFL schedule could look like moving forward. I think the first thing you got to do is trim the preseason. Now, owners want as many games as possible. Even preseason games do well on local television. Obviously, they sell a lot of tickets. People go. I get that. But I think a fair compromise is, hey, if we're going to go to 18 regular season games, can we trim the preseason to 2 weeks? The fans don't care about it anymore. The players, especially the high-level ones, they don't like playing anymore. 2 weeks is more than enough. College football goes straight into the regular season schedule. Why can't the NFL just have 1 or 2 preseason games? So I think you go to a 2-week, 2 preseason game model. Maybe 2 teams play 3 because of the Hall of Fame game, but which they'll want to keep. But beyond that, you go to a 2 preseason week schedule, week off before week 1. Let Labor Day still be college football weekend. Let's not mess with that. And then you go to a 20-week regular season model with 18 games. You add a second bye week, which is something Burrow mentioned. I think that's logical. If you're going to play 18 games, only 1 week off over 4.5 months before playoffs for a lot of teams, it's not enough. The sport's too violent. So do 2 bye weeks. Everyone's first bye week is between week 5 and 8. Second bye week can be between, 13 and 16, whatever the case is. The league can figure that out pretty easily. Not only do you stretch your schedule out longer, but that's kind of your sales pitch from a league of, hey, we care about player safety. We're giving you guys an extra bye week. So that seems like kind of a pretty win-win for everyone involved. And then I just kind of want to dive into 3 general benefits of why this makes sense. Number 1, something we've talked about ad nauseum, but just want to reiterate. Money, but specifically salary cap increases. For these teams, the more cap you can work with, the more flexibility you have. That's how these GMs want to operate. They want to have more at their disposal, so you give them more cap space. Like the cap's already been going up a bunch in recent years. You add an 18th game, you're probably talking an extra $20 million per team per year in general for adding that extra game. And it's already going up because the TV money is so big these days. It'll only go up more if you add that additional week. So I think that's kind of a no-brainer. And by the way, you're kind of adding 2 weeks if you do the second bye week, because a 20-week schedule, more TV money because it's spread out over a longer period of time. I think that's a sneaky part of this as well. Benefit number 2, and I think this is an important one because we're facing kind of an issue right now where the 12th highest or best quarterback is resetting the market. Well, if that's going to continue where B-level quarterbacks get paid top dollar, it becomes a little bit easier to absorb that type of contract. Now, I still think the NFL has an issue at this position where the best quarterback and the 13th best quarterback should not be making similar money. But if the cap goes up, it makes it a little bit easier of a decision to go ahead and commit to signing that player. Like the Tua extension is more easier to swallow if you're Miami if the salary cap goes up 20%. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of another benefit as teams are kind of fighting that battle right now of how much percentage of the cap do we want to give this one player. Well, if the cap's bigger, it's a little bit easier to deal with. And then benefit number 3, aggressive teams will get rewarded more. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you make a big trade, big contract, and it doesn't work out, well, cutting players with a lot of dead money, if there's more salary cap allocation to work with, it's a little easier pill to swallow. Like Denver just did it with Russell Wilson, $85 million over 2 years. Well, if the cap was up to $275 million instead of $235 or whatever it is now, I'm just throwing numbers out, that's not as detrimental to their salary cap situation. So in the end, it's all about the money. When you have more money, when the cap is larger, teams can be more aggressive. You bring more entertainment during the NBA or NFL trade deadline, NFL free agency, because teams are more aggressive in that regard. It just increases the entertainment product, and everyone's happy. Owners get more money, players get more money, coaches, kind of a separate deal from the cap, but they benefit as well. I think it's a win-win for everyone involved, and again, Joe Burrow is already advocating for it, so if he's on board, a guy who's been injured twice in 4 years, I think you're going to get most players to sign off on this. I would guess by 2027, we have an 18-game schedule. All right, there you have it. That is the potential big NFL news that we could hear about in the near future. And again, I think all 32 NFL teams benefit greatly from it if it does go down. I'm Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.